UFC CEO Dana White casually dropped a bombshell after fight night in Baku. Jon Jones has officially retired. It was an unceremonious announcement, but it came with a silver lining for Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired, White said during the post-fight presser. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC. But the real news is about Jon Jones. The light heavyweight GOAT returned after 3 years to beat Cyril Gane for the strap, marking his heavyweight debut in a move that seemingly reaffirmed his legacy. He then defended it, over a year later thanks to a long shoulder rehab detour, with a win over Stipe Miocic. During that downtime, Aspinall grabbed the interim belt, but was never granted a unification bout with Jones. Over a year later, White thought he had that fight locked in until news broke of a criminal summons against Jones for leaving a half-naked and intoxicated woman at the scene of an accident. By coincidence, Jones retired the next day, adding one last wrinkle to his already complicated legacy. Meanwhile, UFC on ABC 8 saw Khalil Rountree Jr. deliver a career-best performance, dismantling former champ Jamahal Hill over 5 rounds in the UFC's Baku debut. The big question now, has he earned a crack at the current king, Magomed Ankalaev? Rountree outclassed Hill from bell to bell, using crisp kickboxing, and he even dropped him twice in round 3. Though Hill managed to survive to hear the final horn, it was a technical, dominant, and utterly one-sided victory. Maybe that's why the new champ Ankalaev was watching and live tweeted, "I am falling asleep," which Rountree brushed off. "That guy talks more about me than I talk about him," said Rountree in response. "He says so much, it's like, bro, you're the champion. Why are you talking about me? Get away. Go enjoy being the champion. Quit talking about me on Twitter." Gosh. Ankalaev followed up with, "Your daddy is next, Alex Bumtree. Take a seat, terrible fight." Oddly enough, Rountree didn't respond to that. The UFC's Baku debut was a slog. Only 2 fights finished inside the distance, and one of those had a fighter badly miss weight. So Dana White handed Nazim Sadikov and Nicholas Motta $100K each for Fight of the Night and their individual performances. Pound-for-pound kings Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will throw down in Las Vegas on September 13 after flirting with a Saudi venue. The pair still made the pilgrimage to Riyadh last week for a glitzy kickoff to their global promo tour. Canelo will enter the bout as the hot favorite, and not just because he's the man who holds the undisputed super middleweight title. He plans on taking full advantage of the fact that he's the larger fighter, and Crawford is coming up multiple weights to challenge him.
You know, I'm gonna take advantage of everything. You know, I have experience, power, and I believe if I have advantages on my weight, I'm gonna take it. And like I say, he's a great fighter. It's gonna be a good fight, but I'm here to win.
The Mexican icon's resume includes wins over a who's who of future Hall of Famers Miguel Cotto, Sergey Kovalev, Danny Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, and of course, Gennady Golovkin, to name a few. But he's not sleeping on Crawford just because the odds makers are.
Look, I don't pay attention on that. I've been no favor. I've been in both situations. But, you know, I'm gonna be very disciplined. I'm gonna put my best in the training camp because this is not an easy fight like you see because he's moving up and everything. I've been in that situation, and that doesn't matter when you are a great fighter.
Crawford is also a generational great. Undisputed in 2 weight classes, 41-0, and with 11 stoppages from his last 12 fights. But if there's one criticism of his career, it's the lack of true marquee names on his record, and he knows it.
But it's a career that maybe doesn't have a statement win over another legendary all-time great. Was that one of the reasons why you took this fight?
Of course, you know, this is my homecoming fight.
That doesn't quite make sense, but Bud will be the underdog for a few reasons. There's jumping up not 1 but 2 weight classes to challenge the Mexican superstar, and the other is that he's now 37. Not that he's worried.
Not at all. You know, it just motivated me, you know, to go out there and put on a great performance.
Crawford isn't just aiming to win and keep his undefeated record. He's trying to make history by becoming the first male 3-division undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era.
I will be the first male 3-weight undisputed champion. I'm expecting to win, however it comes.
To spice things up even more, Saudi boxing boss Turki Al-Sheikh announced a knockout bonus to kill off what they're calling Tom and Jerry fights. Starting with Canelo versus Crawford, there'll be up to $1 million on the table for whoever gets the finish on a Riyadh season card. The time has come, Canelo. You're in my way, tweeted Bud. And I'm not leaving Vegas without that win. Alvarez versus Crawford is set to go down this September 13 at the Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. Do not miss it. Over in the circus tent, Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is somehow a real fight that's happening soon. And everyone has an opinion. Most of them are that Chavez is cooked and Jake picked his mark, unless of course the predictor has a stake in the game. For example, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, thinks it will be close, but he's helping to promote the event, so of course he does. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr., experience or ambition? After a back-and-forth battle, Jake Paul edges it with a split decision in the 12th. Former champion come commentator and analyst Sean Porter is betting on Jake Paul to win by knockout, and he has proof. I got Jake Paul by KO. Chavez doesn't have a gas tank. That means you're not working and training out of the gym, reasoned Porter. I saw the in-gym stuff and you scratch your head like, that was it for the day? Canelo, the man Jake's been chasing for years, is putting his money behind his countryman Chavez because, of course he is, but with caveats. I'm rooting for Chavez. I think it's a chance for him to redeem himself, and it's a great opportunity. I fully trust that he'll secure that victory. I wish him all the best. Julio should win. With good preparation and focus, he should come out on top. Mike Perry, who got KO'd by Paul on short notice, thinks Jake pulls it off too. Perry has been punched in the face a lot, and even he can still see what's going on. That'd be interesting if Jake can beat a guy with such experience. He's very confident, and I think he might do it. Paulie Malignaggi, the former 2-weight world champion who is now one of boxing's sharpest analysts, also thinks Paul will win, but almost in spite of Chavez's lack of current credibility. This is a competitive fight because I thought Jake was improving for a little while, but I think for a fight or two, I've noticed he's regressed, said Malignaggi. But Chavez Jr. sucks so bad that he couldn't do it. He's horrible. He's lost to Anderson Silva, so I wouldn't be surprised if he loses to Jake. Let's be honest, Chavez Jr. is a long way from the fighter who held a world title in 2011. He's lost 4 of his last 8 fights. One of those losses was to a 46-year-old Silva in Silva's 3rd pro boxing match, and Chavez is now 39. Jake, 28, is in his prime, and he picks opponents like stocks, only ones that he thinks will guarantee a return. And the return he might get from a win over Chavez could even be that long, elusive Canelo payday. It's as simple as that. And finally, it's to the big boys. IBF world champion Daniel Dubois took a break from training to sip champagne at the Royal Ascot Races. The London-born champion will rematch the unified champion Alexander Usyk at Wembley this July 19 after a controversial low-blow call marred their first fight in Poland.
There was a lot of talk about the low blow. This time, there won't be no more doubt on the result this time, I'm sure.
For the rematch, Dubois and his team have some pretty simple strategies in mind to get the win.
Smash him in the face, bash him up. You hear the people, I hear people coming up to me telling me to just, bash him up. He's a proper champion, so to beat him, I've got to be on my A game, and that's what I'm going to be.
Usyk versus Dubois 2 could make history, with Usyk hunting his 2nd reign as undisputed champ in the 4-belt era. And Dubois, he's looking to smash his way into the record books.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.